Oh, I do need to pull bills.
Okay.
Sorry.
Claims?
Yeah, claims.
Okay. BJU,
BJU.
all right. Make it all the way to AA this time, good Lord.
Yeah, I can't believe there's that AA. I thought they started using Roman numerals after.
Yeah, they should.
That just means we got a lot of stuff going on. That's a good thing.
Yes, it is. It really is. God, that scent's longer than anything. It really is. Honked. When I went by.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I always do. I always do. Lights are on. I didn't see anybody there.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Sometimes you just.
You ever got
Random
trying to take a large breath through this mask to finish the sentence. So.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, we have a red light. I'm going to go ahead and call this September 8th, 2020 meeting of the Indianola City Council to order. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jackie, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Hewin, here. Parker,
Present
Kling,
here.
Schroeder,
I are here. Sorry. I'm ahead of myself.
Salvo, here, and Mayor Shop.
All right, this evening on consent agenda, I've had a request to pull items B, J, and U. Are there any other items to be pulled?
Actually, good on the J, can I get clarification from Doug and Orion if I need to pull that one?
J, the Wellness Center repairs, is it?
I asked her to pull it, but I'm not sure if I need to or don't need to.
As I understand it, I talked to Ryan about it.
Okay.
As I understand it, this is merely the city dealing with maintenance to its building. It has nothing to do with the Y, it has to do with regular routine maintenance. So you would not have to recuse yourself from that.
Therefore, I can vote.
Because it has nothing to do with the Y, it has to do
Okay.
with building maintenance.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so then pull items B and U only, correct?
Yes, thanks, Greta.
I will not read through the entirety of the consent agenda. It is available in the printed agenda and online, including its attached materials. So we are approving items A, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, X, Y, Z, and double A.
Motion to approve. Second.
Jackie, roll call, please.
Nope. Hang on.
Oh,
I have a couple questions. One is on, where's it at? Sorry, I should have that. It's for the East Iowa.
Should be page 30 of your packet.
I'm looking here, I'm trying to-
It's item D.
D. On that, is that well, that's just setting the public hearing, but I have a quick question. Is that a Davis-Bacon project?
Yeah.
It is, because it's federal fund. Okay, I just didn't see it anywhere in the documents. So, all right, thank you. That's all I had on that.
If I can, just really quick, there's a couple items that just want to highlight. As you all know, consent agenda items are, these are mostly routine items. These are several of the items are items that have been discussed previous city council meetings or are part of ongoing budgets. I do want to just point out quickly items H, K, and L. These are all items that pertain to the streetscape project. Charlie provided a presentation at a previous city council meeting During that, we talked about the need to look at Buxton, the traffic signal at Buxton and 92. So item H, AP identified a grant that, so that's pursuing a grant to help with that project. Item K and L are those, their agreements with DA Davidson, our financial advisor, and then Allers and Cooney's, our bond counsel. So this is the activity to effectuate the financing of that, as well as another budgeted item that was discussed previously as part of the budget process, and that's the aerial truck. So that truck does, I know there's been discussions over in the community for some time about issuance of debt, but the aerial truck is something that lasts longer than the term of that debt. So that was identified as a priority by the council during the budget discussions leading up to our budget year. So again, these are the items like permits and approvals, third consideration of ordinances. So all those items are things that have been discussed previously, part of ongoing city projects that the council's opined on or provided input on, direction on. So just some clarification.
Thank you. Jackie?
Councilmember Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Kling,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Southall.
Aye. That leaves us with item B, claims on the computer printout for September 8th, 2020.
I'll be abstaining, so.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, item B, claims on the computer printout for September 8th. Jackie, roll call, please.
Councilmember Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Abstain?
Kling,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Southall.
Aye. Item U, resolution authorizing the city manager to sign the agreement between the city of Indianola and the Young Men's Christian Association of Greater Des Moines, Iowa.
Move to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, Jackie, please.
Councilmember Kling,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin,
Abstain?
Parker,
Aye.
Southall.
Aye. And I believe, because I'm not a pro, just pro tem, I skipped public comment.
Oh.
But I don't think we have anyone here for public comment for an item that's not on the agenda, correct? So we'll hear that later. Okay. Apologies, fire me. All right.
You're not getting away that easy.
Dang it. All right, that brings us to council's report and the mayor's report. I don't think we have anything from council. The mayor is not here, so nothing there. Public consideration, old business, item A1, we have two public hearings. The first is a public hearing on the CDBG funding for the Indianola Ultraviolet Disinfectant Device Acquisition Project. I will now open that public hearing.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. I think Andy's on Zoom and will be able to chime in. This is the grant that we received for the UV as part of COVID, the UV disinfecting tool that police and fire are using. One of the things as we're going through grant compliance, one of the things that our contact over there asked us to do is redo this along with the next one is the meal grant. They want to make sure that we have certain things identified as part of the public hearing. So we included that in our notice that, so we're making sure that we're hitting all the points that need to be factored into our reports back to the state. So Andy, do you want to go ahead and take on, or do you want me to do it?
Yeah, I can go on, take on. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So here's some of the things I need to recap. So the need for the project, the ultraviolet disinfectant device acquisition project, it intended for the city to purchase and utilize 2 ultraviolet disinfectant devices, which we have done to disinfect public safety vehicles and equipment and provide a sanitary environment for city employees and citizens in need. The need for this project is critical during the COVID-19 pandemic time period to halt transmission of the virus. The amount of the CDBG funding was $8,130. The entire amount will benefit low and moderate income persons within the Indianola Public Safety Service area. No relocation of any person is required for this project. And the city of Indianola encourages anyone with comments, questions, or concerns to contact the city of Indianola at cityclerk@indianolaiowa.gov or by calling me at 515-962-5246. Furthermore, we have to note also, since this is a CDBG grant, some of the things that the city of Indianola is doing to address the housing needs of low to moderate income persons. Some of the following activities have been noted in the Elevate Iowa Comprehensive Plan that the council approved a few months ago. Consider a forgivable loan program for safety and repair of exterior elements that could compromise health and well-being of the occupants of a house. Partner with nonprofit agencies to provide residential cleanup, maintenance, and repair services. Create a neighborhood improvement mini grant program for neighborhood associations. Establish building and site design criteria for multifamily development and major modifications, existing developments. Adopt a city housing code. Once the city's population reaches 15,000, that's their rental inspections. Create a mixed-use zoning district for the area surrounding downtown and for neighborhoods that allow for a combination of residential and limited office or limited retail uses. And amend the zoning and subdivision regulations to allow for cluster development techniques. Evaluate the potential of tiny housing and various cooperative housing models. And the city of Indianola plans to undergo the following planned and potential activities to address housing needs. Also maintain and promote tax abatement for new housing, promote tax abatement for renovations and upgrades to housing, reevaluate housing needs to determine if tax abatement programs continue to be justified in their current form, and promote mixed density housing developments. For example, a combination of single family, detached, and multifamily designed to complement each other. So public comment is highly encouraged on these items, either at this time of the hearing or by calling our main line at 961-9410 or emailing the city clerk at indianolaiowa.gov. That
Thank you, Andy. Jackie, have we received any public comment today?
No, we have not.
Is there anyone who would like to speak to this? If not, I will close the public hearing and move on to open another public hearing on the CDBG funding for the Indianola Mills project.
Andy's gonna basically go through the same process that he just went through.
Okay, so the purpose of this hearing is to give the status of the Indianola Mills project, during which the city intends to partner with the Indianola Chamber of Commerce, Helping Hands Food Pantry, and the Central Iowa Shelter and Services to support small business restaurants and reduce food insecurity in Indianola. The need for this project is critical during the COVID-19 pandemic time period to halt the transmission of the virus and to provide needy meals and support the restaurant industry. The amount of CDBG funding is $62,700. The entire amount will benefit low and moderate income persons within the Indianola area. No relocations of any person is required for this project. The city of Indianola encourages anyone with comments, questions, or concerns to contact the city of Indianola at cityclerk@indianolaiowa.gov or by calling me at 962-5246. Furthermore, the city of Indianola encourages seeking to address the housing needs of low to moderate income persons through the following activities. I'm going to be repeating the same one, so sorry about that, but consider a forgivable loan program for safety and repair of exterior elements that could compromise health and well-being of housing occupants. Partner with nonprofit agencies to provide residential cleanup, maintenance, and repair services. Create a neighborhood improvement mini grant program for neighborhood associations to be awarded funds for beautification improvement projects establish building and site design criteria for multifamily development and major modifications, assisted developments, adopt a city housing code in compliance with section 364.17 of the Iowa Code once the city reaches a population of 15,000 for the rental inspections. Create a mixed-use zoning district for areas surrounding downtown and for neighborhoods that allow for a combination of residential and limited office and limited retail uses. Create a mixed-use zoning district for transportation nodes and corridors. Amend the zoning and subdivision regulations to allow for cluster development techniques. Evaluate the potential of tiny housing and various cooperative housing models. The city of Indianola plans to undergo the following planned or potential activities to address housing needs, maintain and promote tax abatement for new housing, maintain and promote tax abatement for renovations and upgrades to housing, reevaluate housing needs to determine if tax abatement programs continue to be justified in their current form, and promote mixed density housing developments. Public comment is highly encouraged on these items, either at the time of the hearing or calling 515-961-9410 or emailing the city clerk at indianolaiowa.gov. That's it.
Thank you, Andy. Jackie, any public comment?
We have not.
I will then close the public hearing. This brings us to new business. And we have a hearing in accordance with chapter 56, section 56.05 of the city code concerning seizure, impoundment, and disposition of vicious animals. We need a motion and a roll call vote to open.
Motion to go into the hearing.
Second.
Any discussion? Jackie?
Councilmember Hewlin.
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Kling,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Southall.
Aye. All right, the hearing is open, and how, is there a way we should proceed? Do you want us to proceed with the materials as presented? Do have someone to speak as well?
Typically, we have the, because it's the city's burden, we have the officers
Okay,
present first.
are you just flipping a coin for who wants to?
Right.
Officer Temple here. I was the officer who responded to the call. Do you all have the case in front of you?
We do,
Okay, I'll give a brief version of it then. On July 4th, I was called to the Mercy Clinic downtown for a report of a dog bite to a juvenile. Upon arrival, I spoke with the juvenile's mother because the juvenile was being worked on. She stated that the juvenile was at 207 South P Street playing in the pool, enjoying the 4th of July festivities, when the dog at the residence walked up behind her and began sniffing the back of her head. A firework went off, which startled the dog. It then lashed onto the back of her head and dragged her out of the pool. The owner of the dog then grabbed the dog by its mouth and had to pry its mouth off of her head, and then took the dog inside. The animal was updated on its rabies shots. The doctors, when asked by the mother of the victim how many stitches it required, the doctor responded, too many to count. So we don't have an exact idea on that. Did you receive any pictures?
We have the police reports, the photos.
Okay. Well, then I will not go into those. The mother of the victim, also in an email to me, stated that the victim is now afraid to go outside, and when she sees dogs walking down the street, has panic attacks. Anybody have questions for me? Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
If you'd like to speak now,
Okay.
yes.
I go up there?
Yes.
Okay, I passed out, I'm sorry.
It could be fine.
So I'm Mercedes, I own the dog, I live at 207 South P Street. Some of that was new information to me, so I'm kind of grasping it still, I guess. I don't know how this really goes. I'm so nervous, I'm sorry, can I
okay.
take a second?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Basically, what we will do is.
I had notes, but if I read those, well.
So what happens is we consider the ordinance and what the law says and what
Okay.
we need to do to consider whether or not an animal is vicious. We take a look at the police report along with listening to their testimony, and we will also hear from you and take that into consideration when we make our determination about whether or not this animal meets the definition of a
Criteria.
vicious animal.
Okay. So, yes, like he said, it happened on July 4th. How the day kind of went is we literally just moved into our house on July 2nd, and my dog was already kind of being very anxious, like new home, new area, everything like that. The little girls, my daughters, they were sick of moving all day. So they're like, Mom, can you get the pool blown up? Can we go swimming? Of course, I said yes. The new little girls asked if they could come over and swim too. Didn't think anything of it. It was going fine and good and dandy. And the little girls had water guns, and I did keep asking them. But granted, I was like, can you please stop squirting him with water guns? He didn't like that. I could tell that he was starting to get anxious. And then it just kind of happened so quick. And he grabbed the little girl by her hair. She was not, I'm not saying that this was right at all or making excuses, but she still was in the pool when I got there. I calmed down the situation. I immediately ran over to the mom's house, and my first instinct was just like, is she okay? You know what I mean? Like, what can we do? I helped her get the little girl all situated and sent them off to the emergency room. And then pretty much it was very out of character for our dog to act that way. We have an 8-year-old, we have a 5-year-old. My niece is 1. She lives with, she'll come and stay with us. We have kids in and out. Since then, it's been 2 months since it's happened, and I've spoken with the mom now. The little girls still play with our daughters outside. We've paid the medical bills. We've done our diligence. The thing is the dog is my boyfriend's service dog, and so there was so much that happened, if that makes sense. Like a new home, water guns, him not being there, fireworks going off. It was just so much that happened at once. But since then we've done our part. We've done obedience training with him, which he's done good too. We always have a muzzle on him now. He is I don't know if you guys know Goldie Armstrong, but she told me how this thing goes. She's my neighbor. Her grandkids and her son's kids come in and out of my house all the time when he's there. Now that he is used to his environment, I think it was just so much, and it wasn't right. I'm not saying it's right or it was okay, but yeah, I don't know. We've pretty much done our part since the neighbors come over. They were like, if obviously they know we have a dog because he bit somebody, but they were like, if that would have never happened, we would have never even known you had a dog. When the kids come to our house, he doesn't bark. Like, he's a good dog, and it just kind of sucks that this happened the way it did. It's cliche, but he is part of our family. We have no family here, and so we're just trying to see the best way to go about it. He's doing good with his training. We always have a muzzle on him. We don't keep him in the yard unattended since it's been 2 months, and we have kids always constantly running in and out of our house now. We're making sure that we would never want people to be in danger in our home, if that makes sense. As a mother, I would never, and the mom of the daughter that it happened to, I've been in contact with her the whole entire time. Everything that she's needed, we've done. We've paid the medical bills. The girls are playing together again. So I don't know. I'm so nervous. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. And I just got my wisdom teeth out. So I'm like, yeah. And I definitely read what makes a vicious dog, and what he did is considered probably to me, but it's vicious. I read it, but it was just so out of character, and I think all of those things had an impact, if that makes sense. So we're pretty much just seeing if we can have one more chance. we've talked to other people. I'm sorry. We've talked to other people about like rehoming him and stuff, but we just moved here and it's just literally my daughters, me, and my boyfriend. They're finally getting adjusted in school, and like the dog is our world, and he's a good dog. I wouldn't keep putting people in danger if he wasn't. Obviously what he did is not okay, and as a mom I would probably be like, what the heck, get your dog in check. But I understand all the other things that kind of triggered it, so that's what I have to say. I'm sorry. I'm emotional. Can I go get
Thank you.
Demonte?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
We'll wait for that.
While we're waiting, Officer Temple had wanted to add some points. And then just to make sure council's aware, in your packet, it does say at the conclusion of the public hearing, you do have to receive and file the testimony and correspondence.
I apologize, I did forget to mention a couple of things. On the day that I was finally able to get in contact with Mercedes, which was, I believe, the 5th of July, she stated that its actions were unacceptable, as she had set up here, and that they were planning on euthanizing it. When I told the mother of the victim, she was, okay, fine, I'm happy with that answer. It wasn't until approximately 3 weeks later that she reached out to me in email and said, hey, they changed their mind, they didn't put the dog to sleep, you know, what can we do about that? So that is why we moved forward with this course of action.
And we do have that as part of.
Yeah, that was part of
The
it.
email?
Yes,
Yeah,
Okay.
yes,
it's in there.
all-
Yep.
I do have a question.
Absolutely.
It says about the owner prying the dog's jaws off the head. Was the mother of the daughter there to see that?
She was not. The owner, Mercedes, had told me that.
She told you
Yes, that she reached her fingers inside of its mouth and had to open it up to get it off.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Any other questions? Ryan, did I miss anything?
Nope.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Yep.
So those that are watching at home, we're just waiting for the resident to bring in, they're swapping places for the hearing.
Steps we put in, just give your name and address and then go ahead and.
My name is Demonte Ruth. I stay at 207 SP Street, Indianola, Iowa. I mean, like, what do I really need to say?
Anything that you want to add, so aside from what Mercedes or the police have in the report and about it, is there anything that you would like to add about the dog?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I wasn't there the day it happened. I was back home. I had some family issues, but he is my service animal and he helps me out. I have real bad anxiety at times, especially being away from my family. I'm from Dallas, Texas. And I came up here on a full-ride scholarship to Iowa State. And I never really been like so far from home and away from my family. And at times I thought about dropping out and going back home just because, I mean, I'm needed back there. But I got counseling and emotional support dog was recommended to me. So I got him, and ever since I had him, I mean, my spirits has been up. I've been doing better at life in general and being away from Texas. I mean, I really feel like I don't have to go back now. And I don't know, it's a hard situation, even like thinking about the possibility of not having them anymore. That makes sense. I don't know. We did just move here that week that the incident happened. There was a lot of noise and banging and people that he didn't know around. You know, he's usually not like that at all. I mean, we always have like neighbor kids over, and I mean, nothing of the sort ever happened before. I mean, we did talk to the parents and the kids that the incident happened with. No, I mean, we got it settled. I mean, as far as we could. I told him that like I deeply apologize because I mean, he is my service dog and I wasn't there at the moment. And how like horrible I felt that even some of that sort would happen.
How long have you had the dog?
Since August 2018 or 17.
Okay.
He's 2 now. He was born in May.
Anyone have any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you. What happens now?
You may stay or you may exit, it's up to you. Yeah, go for it. Any discussion?
You have to close.
We have to close it, okay,
By
so we
motion.
need a motion. It's roll call.
Motion to close the hearing.
Second.
Discussion on that. Jackie?
Councilmember Hewlin. Aye. Parker.
Aye.
Kling.
Aye.
Schroeder. Councilmember Schroeder.
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Southall.
Aye.
And then you need to receive a file.
All right. We need a motion to receive and file all of the documentation, police report, et cetera.
I so move.
Second.
Any discussion? Jackie?
Councilmember Schroeder.
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Hewlin. Aye. Parker.
Aye.
Kling.
Aye.
And Southall.
Aye. All right, the next item on the agenda is the determination of a vicious animal. According to chapter 5605, after the hearing, we shall determine if the animal is vicious. If the animal is determined to be vicious, the council shall order the person owning, sheltering, harboring, or keeping the animal to cause it to be destroyed in a humane manner, or it shall immediately be served upon the individual or entity against whom it is issued in the same manner as the notice of hearing. So we would make the motion to determine it to be vicious.
Correct.
And then discussion and vote accordingly. You'll make the motion in the positive.
I move that we determine the animal is vicious.
Second. Okay, discussion.
Well, yeah,
Right.
obviously this is, you always hate to see a circumstance. Dog biting, the owners, the remorse, and at the same time, you have to look at what happened to the little girl. And as I view that, that always gives me pause to what could happen to the next little one. And it sounds like there's lots of activity, maybe with kids now around the house. Sounds like maybe they're trying to take some precautions. But I think when you get to a situation where there's that type of injury, I think it puts us in a position that we have to honor what the code reads. So that would be my input.
And if I could say something, your hands are somewhat tied. That's because we used to have the vicious dog ordinances used to kind of give the 2-bite rule, or it would be a kind of nebulous concept of did it cause sufficient injury. Cities recognizing that there needed to be brighter lines, put in certain standards. Your ordinance, which is an ordinance that would probably be similar to ordinance in 100 other cities in the state of Iowa, you have designated that a vicious animal is one who does cause injury above the shoulders because of the nature of, this is bad enough, this little girl, but when you get up above the head and shoulders, it can cause death quickly. So in some respects, that ordinance has taken a lot of your discretion away because of the way it's written. And here we have a situation where the attack was above the shoulders. So, and I'm not, it's hard because I'm a dog owner myself, and I understand. And it sounds like the homeowners have worked and tried to were remorseful, and they obviously didn't want to see this happen. Problem is your hands are somewhat tied because if you're going to establish any precedent, it has to be following the ordinance. So.
I have a question about I understand the hands being tied with regards to the ordinance, and I assume then that also applies to what happens to the animal upon being determined vicious. Because Ms. Fay said they have talked about rehoming.
Right.
That is not an option that's available to the owners.
Well,
or is it an option?
I guess if the dog would leave your jurisdiction, you can't do anything. But all this council can do is direct that the animal be humanely destroyed and make sure that that's done. I think we're probably past that. So you can only deal with what you have, and that is you don't have any, there's nothing in the ordinance, because I looked at that too, nothing in the ordinance that says you can figure out a way to repurpose or give the animal a second chance someplace else. And frankly, I think that always engenders the conversation of, are you then going to let what you determine to be a vicious animal, or your ordinance has determined to be a vicious animal, go somewhere else? So we don't have that discretion.
Any other discussion or questions?
I just want to say it's too bad. It's not a little nip. It's something that's very severe, and we all agree it should never happen, but it did. And there's only one way to be reassured that it does not happen again.
Yeah, I'm 7 years old and I got bit in the face, and but I also own dogs too, and I wish there was a way we could rehelm it, but it sounds like our hands are tied, and unfortunately.
All right, if there's no further discussion, we have a motion on the table. Jackie?
Councilmember Schroeder,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin. Aye. Parker.
Aye.
Kling.
Aye.
Southall.
Aye. All right, our next item of business is a first consideration of an ordinance amending chapter 160 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Indianola, making certain amendments to the adopted fire code. I'll move. that we-
I'm sorry. I'll second your motion. Sorry.
Any discussion or information?
I guess I was just waiting for the information.
Thank you. This is just housekeeping item. When we did the 2018 code updates for building, the massive building code updates, these were portions of the fire code that did not make it into that round. So this is just adding something back in that was on the books previously.
Councilmember Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin. Aye. Parker,
Aye.
Kling,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall.
Aye. Next, we have a resolution approving a pre-application for the 2020 Iowa Great Places Grant.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion or information?
Just, everybody saw the award. It was actually on the radio this morning. We did get a shout out by the executive director of the Greater Des Moines Home Builders Association on LinkedIn today about our Iowa Great Place designation, and certainly appreciate the work on the part of Hometown Pride and Doug Violin. There was a quick turnaround for the designation. There's now a grant period. So Doug and I met with the chair and Lauren Ditzler, who's the hired coach. Thank you. Just reviewing different projects. So they went and worked with the Hometown Pride Committee, and the 3 projects that are being submitted are in your packet. So, certainly exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Any further discussion? Jackie?
Councilmember Schroeder,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin. Aye. Parker,
Aye.
Kling,
Aye.
Southall.
Aye. Our next item of business is a resolution approving an amendment to the city council TIF program policy.
Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
TIF program policy.
Discussion or information? Charlie looks poised to strike.
He does. He
I
does.
feel like he would like to stop.
He's got his winter mask on.
That's nice. Charlie DeSalle, Community and Economic Development Director. Really quick, it was last year at some point, council did ask us to look at this TIF policy. The current TIF policy does put a limit on commercial TIF reimbursement at a $10 million project because of some of the stuff that we had in our comp plan survey, which kind of promoted more small businesses. We did take a look at that, and we did remove that $10 million limitation or threshold that was on there, not limitation. Other than that, there was some other minor changes that were made to it just to bring it up to current standards. There was some talk of the Indianola Development Council, I think is whatever it was, that is no longer being used. So we took the references out of that as well. So.
Indianola Development Association.
Association, sorry, yeah. So I had never even heard about it until I read this policy. So, but any other questions on the policy, I'd be happy to answer them. But that was the summary of that.
That's good.
Yeah. And then obviously from here, that doesn't give businesses the owner the right to come in and just get money. That still has to go through council for approval on the development agreement. So.
Right.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Charlie.
Good job.
If there's no further discussion, roll call, please.
Councilmember Hewlin. Aye. Parker,
Aye.
Kling,
Aye.
Schroeder.
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Southall.
Aye. Next, we have the city manager's reports.
Hi, well, I'm back. I've got a couple of things. First of all, for those watching at home, after the 2 executive sessions, there is no action that's required of the city council. So due to the logistical nightmare that it is Zoom and YouTube and trying to get it slotted back, we're not gonna, there's nothing right out of the executive session, it's adjournment. So those watching at home, just be aware of that. We do, there's a couple things we're gonna need some direction on. Minor things. League of Cities is having their conference this week. Andy, this week or next week? Next week, thank you. As part of it, we all received an email saying that there would need to be a delegate selected to represent the city. So Andy's attending. We wanted to check with council, make sure that that's okay. If Andy does whatever, he would be the one that would represent the city in voting on whatever the league is presenting for vote. So
Yeah, it's great.
As long as it's okay with Andy.
Andy was the one that brought it up. So the other thing is very similar. Today we received an email from the Greater Des Moines Partnership. They've applied for a grant to do, it's for it's a study of rural fiber. And they've asked member communities, entities to submit a letter of support for this application. They've asked that we turn it in by tomorrow, so very quick, or very short turnaround time. Charlie did email Mike Rosga and Christus Blanks from IMU, just to let them know, get any input. Did you hear anything back from them? No, I'm sorry.
And Art as well.
And Art, did you hear anything back from Art?
Actually, he submitted the letter on behalf of the school district.
Okay, so we're just wanting to make sure that it's okay. There's no commitment. It's just supporting a grant application on part of the Greater Des Moines Partnership. So just want to make sure it's okay before we go ahead and send that out.
Yep.
Okay, the last thing, and I want to show this will work here. The city council provided direction to staff about the logo on the police cars. As part of that, I know much discussion has been circulated around the community about the estimate that was presented. So the estimate was $27,000. That was an estimate up to this point. The removal and the design of the logo has cost $0. And so what I want to present to you today, or just share with you, is the police department went through a process where they identified a staff committee. The staff committee then, all members of the department were able to provide different examples of patches throughout the country. They provided it. There was some mock-ups that were done. That was done pro bono by a graphic designer. I believe it's actually a relative of one of our team members. Put that together, and then the whole department voted on it. So hopefully this works.
Oh, the windows.
Yeah, that's pretty clever.
Well, Linda's be upset.
Well, yeah.
It's nice though.
Yeah, that's,
Got it?
Thank you.
That's clearly
And the
not,
windows aren't too dark either. You know? Yeah, that's right.
Clearly not it.
30% overly.
Overly tinted, yeah.
So what I'll try to do is just turn my computer around, since I can't get it to work, and we can pass it around. But it's, and we'll position it so Alex can zoom in on it.
Oh, yeah, all right.
And we will have that made in purple and gold for our SRO.
That's sure they'll, Alex, I don't know where you want me to position this. We can get it up some way somehow, but yeah, I mean, that's.
Good job.
Did I hit on all the points?
You did.
Lieutenant?
We're just, the patch, members of council, Lieutenant Hawkins, Police Department. The patch is now kind of into that mock-up stage where we've sent it off to actually get a patch mock-up made, you know, and also to kind of clean up the image that we have. And then once we do that, then we'll proceed with ordering patches. And once we have a cleaned up image, then something that's printable, then we'll of course have the new logos applied to the cars in the previous position where the other patch was, and then carry on with the rest of the implementation. But so far to date, we've not spent any dollars on this project yet. But of course there'll be some cost coming with the implementation. So.
Looks good.
Good,
Looks good.
Yeah, looks good.
Tell the crew, great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a process.
I'll bet. Glad you used the state of Iowa.
Well, I voted for cycling. I got
It's better than the state of Nebraska.
Just kudos to the police department. They really did a great job with this and made this their own, and as they're the ones that are wearing the uniform, and so I really appreciate that.
Sounds like there was help from others too that we need to thank too, the family that helped out. That's nice of them to do that.
So, that's it, other than just receive and file the correspondence from 14th, 21st, and 28th.
Motion to receive and file the correspondence 14, 21st, 28, 2020.
Second?
Any discussion about that? Jackie?
Councilmember Hewlin.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Kling.
Aye.
Schroeder.
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Southall.
Aye. All right, is there any other business that is good for the order before we enter into closed session? Okay, I will entertain a motion to enter into closed
I
session.
move that we enter into closed session in accordance with Iowa Code Section 21.51J, discuss the purchase or sale of particular real estate only when the premature disclosure could be reasonably expected to increase by the price the governmental body would have to pay that property or reduce the price the governmental body would receive for that property.
Second.
Any discussion? Jack?
Councilmember Kling.
Aye.
Schroeder.
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Hewlin.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Southall.
Aye. All right, let's take a 4-minute recess.